If you're so smart, then translate it. The white female CEO mocked the black waiter, then froze in shock. Cassandra Whitmore didn't do nervous. She'd built Meridian Global Consulting from her Harvard dorm room into a $180 million empire. And at 36, she was used to commanding every room she entered. Her blonde hair fell in perfect waves past her shoulders. Her navy Armani suit cost more than most people's monthly rent, and her reputation for ruthless efficiency preceded her everywhere. Tonight was different. Tonight was everything. The private dining room at Augustine's, Boston's most exclusive restaurant, glittered with candlelight and old money atmosphere. Across the linen-draped table sat 3 Japanese executives from Tanaka Industries, and if Cassandra could close this deal, Meridian would expand into the Asian market with a contract worth $47 million. More wine, ma'am? Cassandra barely registered the waiter. Tall, black, early 30s with warm brown eyes and an easy professionalism. She waved him off without looking up from her tablet, reviewing her presentation notes for the 15th time. Isaiah Bennett had learned not to take it personally. After 2 years waiting tables at Augustine's while saving money for his next move, he'd seen every type of customer. The dismissive ones barely bothered him anymore. He refilled water glasses silently and stepped back against the wall, available but invisible. The dinner progressed smoothly through appetizers and main courses. Cassandra's pitch was flawless. Growth projections, market analysis, implementation timelines. Mr. Tanaka nodded appreciatively, his senior advisor, Mr. Yamamoto, taking careful notes. Then came dessert, and everything fell apart. Mr. Yamamoto suddenly launched into rapid Japanese, his voice sharp with concern. He gestured at a contract clause displayed on Cassandra's tablet, speaking faster and more emphatically. Mr. Tanaka's expression grew troubled. Cassandra's smile froze. Her translator, the one person she'd needed most tonight, had tested positive for COVID that morning. She'd convinced herself she could manage with her basic conversational Japanese and translation apps. She'd been wrong. Perhaps, Mr. Tanaka said politely in accented English. We should postpone until... No, Cassandra's voice came out too sharp. Panic clawed at her throat. This deal had taken 8 months to arrange. Tanaka Industries was considering 2 other consulting firms. If she postponed, she'd lose everything. She fumbled with her phone, pulling up a translation app, but the technical legal terminology came out as incomprehensible gibberish. Mr. Yamamoto spoke again, more insistently, and Cassandra could see the deal slipping through her fingers like sand. Isaiah appeared to clear the dessert plates. Without thinking, driven by desperation and 13-hour workday frustration, Cassandra thrust her phone at him. Here, her voice dripped with condescension and barely controlled panic. If you're so smart, then translate it. The private dining room went absolutely silent. Cassandra realized too late what she'd done, not just asked for help, but demanded it with contempt. The implication hung in the air like poison. You're just a waiter, just serving staff, just a black man in a service position. What could you possibly understand about international business negotiations? Isaiah looked at the phone in her outstretched hand, then at Cassandra, then at the Japanese executives sitting uncomfortably at the table. Something shifted in his expression. Not anger, but something far more devastating. Disappointment, weariness. The look of someone who'd seen this particular brand of dismissal too many times. Then, without a word, he began to speak, in flawless, elegant Japanese. Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Isaiah's Japanese was poetry. Not just fluent, elegant, nuanced, respectful in a way that made even Cassandra, who didn't understand the language, recognize sophistication. He addressed Mr. Yamamoto's concerns about intellectual property rights, explained the legal protections in terms that made the older man's furrowed brow relax, and even suggested modifications to the contract that made Mr. Tanaka lean forward with interest. When he switched to Mandarin to clarify a technical point with Mr. Tanaka's assistant, who'd been silent until now, Cassandra felt her face burning with shame so intense she wanted to disappear. "Your concerns are completely valid," Isaiah continued in Japanese, his tone warm and professional. "If I might suggest, the contract could include a provisional clause that addresses both parties' interests regarding—" He spoke for 5 minutes. Mr. Yamamoto nodded. Mr. Tanaka's expression transformed from concerned to impressed. When Isaiah finally finished, Mr. Tanaka stood and bowed deeply, not to Cassandra, but to Isaiah. "Domo arigato gozaimasu," Mr. Tanaka said. "Your understanding of both language and business is extraordinary. Where did you study?" "Georgetown for my master's, then a year at Waseda University in Tokyo," Isaiah replied, still in Japanese. "I'll bring fresh coffee while you discuss the revised terms." He walked away without looking at Cassandra, his posture straight and dignified. The meeting continued, but Cassandra couldn't focus on anything except her own mortification. Her words played on loop in her head. "If you're so smart, then translate it." The contempt, the assumption, the casual cruelty of judging a person's intelligence and worth based on their current job and the color of their skin. Mr. Tanaka agreed to the modified contract. Handshakes were exchanged. Congratulations offered. Cassandra moved through it mechanically, barely hearing her own voice, thanking them for their trust. When the Japanese executives finally left, Cassandra stood alone in the private dining room. Through the window, she could see Isaiah in the main restaurant, serving another table with the same quiet excellence. A book peeked from his apron pocket. She squinted and made out French text on the cover. Her vice president, Jonathan Pierce, appeared at her elbow. "Congratulations, Cassandra. That was close, but you pulled it off." "I didn't pull it off," she said quietly. "He did. The waiter I just humiliated in front of everyone. Well, lucky break that he spoke Japanese." "It wasn't luck, Jonathan. And it wasn't a break. I assumed he was uneducated because he's serving tables. I mocked him. She swallowed hard. "I was racist." Jonathan shifted uncomfortably. "You were stressed. Don't be so hard on yourself." But Cassandra knew better. She'd revealed something ugly about herself tonight. Something she'd always believed she was above. She'd looked at Isaiah Bennett and made instant judgments based on nothing but his race and occupation. She'd seen a black waiter, not a person. Not someone who might have a master's degree, who might speak 5 languages, who might be more educated than her. As the restaurant prepared to close, Cassandra remained, waiting. She'd humiliated Isaiah publicly. The least she could do was apologize the same way. Isaiah was wiping down tables in the main dining room when Cassandra approached. Other staff glanced between them curiously. Word had clearly spread about the incident. "Mr. Bennett?" Cassandra began, her voice steady despite her hammering heart. "May I speak with you?" He looked up, his expression neutral. "The restaurant is closing, Ms. Whitmore." "I know. This will only take a moment." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "What I said to you tonight was inexcusable. I was rude, dismissive, and I made assumptions based on—" She forced herself to say it. "Based on seeing a black man in a service position and presuming you couldn't possibly help me." Isaiah set down his cloth slowly. "At least you're honest about it. That doesn't make it acceptable." "No, it doesn't." His voice remained calm, but she heard the edge beneath. "You needed help, and instead of asking respectfully, you mocked me. You assumed I was stupid because I was serving you. And yeah, Ms. Whitmore, race played into that assumption whether you want to admit it or not." The truth of his words cut deep. "You're right. Completely right. I'm sorry. Truly." Isaiah studied her face for a long moment. "You know what the worst part is? This happens constantly. People see the apron, see my skin, and make instant judgments. I've had customers snap their fingers at me, had them ask if I even graduated high school, had them speak slowly so I could understand. You weren't the first, and you won't be the last. That's horrible. That's Tuesday." He picked up his cloth again. "But you know what's different about you? You came back to apologize. Most people would have just avoided me or convinced themselves they did nothing wrong. So, apology acknowledged. Can I ask why you're working here? With your education?" Georgetown Masters in International Relations, concentration in East Asian Policy Studies, Fulbright Scholar in Japan, published researcher. He recited it without pride or bitterness, just fact. I know how it looks. Overqualified waiter. There's a story there, but we don't know each other well enough for me to tell it. Something in his voice made Cassandra want to hear that story desperately. Would you? She hesitated, surprised by her own boldness. Would you have coffee with me? Not now, I know you're working. But tomorrow, maybe. I'd like to have a real conversation, not as customer and waiter. Isaiah raised an eyebrow. Why? The directness of the question caught her off guard. Why? Because he fascinated her? Because she felt guilty? Because something about him made her want to be better than her worst moment? Because I'm curious about you, she admitted. Because I made a terrible first impression and I'd like a chance at a second one. Because, she took a breath, because in 5 minutes of listening to you speak tonight, I learned more about grace and dignity than I've learned in my entire career. A ghost of a smile touched Isaiah's lips. One coffee, tomorrow at 10. There's a place called Rosewood Cafe on Newbury Street. I'll be there. As Cassandra walked to her car, her phone buzzed with congratulatory messages about the Tanaka deal. But all she could think about was the man she'd wronged, and the unexpected chance he'd given her to prove she was more than her prejudices. For the first time in years, Cassandra felt genuinely nervous about a meeting that had nothing to do with business. Rosewood Cafe was nothing like the places Cassandra usually frequented. No pretentious decor or $12 lattes, just worn wooden tables, local art on brick walls, and the smell of fresh-baked cinnamon rolls. She arrived 15 minutes early, ordered a cappuccino, and tried not to look like someone checking her watch every 30 seconds. Isaiah walked in exactly at 10, wearing jeans and a dark green Henley that made his brown skin look warm and golden in the morning light. Without the waiter's uniform, he looked younger, more relaxed. He ordered black coffee and sat across from her. Thank you for coming, Cassandra said. Thank you for apologizing. Most people in your position wouldn't bother. My position? Wealthy, powerful, white. He said it matter-of-factly. People like you don't usually apologize to people like me. The bluntness stung, but Cassandra appreciated it. I want to understand. Help me understand. Isaiah leaned back, considering. What do you want to know? Everything. Why you're waiting tables when you could be at the State Department or the UN. How you speak. What? How many languages? 6 fluently, 4 conversationally, and I can read 3 more. Cassandra shook her head in amazement. It's extraordinary. It's survival. My mom's family is from Louisiana, French Creole roots. My dad's family has Caribbean connections. I grew up hearing multiple languages, realized I had an ear for it. Studied hard, got scholarships, made it to Georgetown. He wrapped his hands around his coffee cup. I was supposed to be the success story. First in my family to get a graduate degree. Had a job lined up at a think tank in D.C., focused on international conflict resolution. What happened? His expression darkened. Life happened. My younger sister Maya was killed 3 years ago. Wrong place, wrong time, caught in crossfire during a robbery. She was 19, working at a convenience store to pay for community college. Cassandra's hand flew to her mouth. Isaiah, After she died, I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't sit in conference rooms theorizing about peace and justice when there was none for Maya. Couldn't write policy papers when my baby sister was just another statistic. His voice remained steady, but pain flickered in his eyes. I had a breakdown, left D.C., moved to Boston, started over. Waiting tables keeps me grounded, reminds me that everyone has a story, everyone deserves dignity. Rich or poor, black or white or anything else. Cassandra felt tears prick her eyes. I'm so sorry about Maya, and I'm sorry I didn't see you as a whole person that night. But you see me now. I'm trying to. They talked for 3 hours. Isaiah told her about growing up in New Orleans, about his mother who cleaned houses to pay for his books, about Maya's laugh and dreams. Cassandra found herself sharing things she never discussed. Her own pressure cooker childhood, her father's impossible expectations, the loneliness of success. You know what's interesting? Isaiah said as they finally prepared to leave. You're different than I expected. How so? At the restaurant, you were all armor. Sharp edges and control. Right now, you're real. Maybe you make it easier to be real. He smiled, a genuine smile that transformed his face. Want to do this again? Yes, Cassandra said without hesitation. Absolutely yes. Over the next 3 weeks, coffee became their ritual. Every morning at 10, they met at Rosewood Cafe. Isaiah would arrive with a new book, Garcia Marquez in Spanish, Mishima in Japanese, Achebe in English. Cassandra brought her tablet but found herself ignoring work emails to listen to him read poetry aloud, translating verses and explaining cultural contexts she'd never considered. Listen to this, Isaiah said one morning, reading from Neruda. Quiero hacer contigo lo que la primavera hace con los cerezos. He looked up. I want to do with you what spring does with the cherry trees. That's beautiful. What does it mean? It means I want to help you bloom. Want to see you transform, become more yourself. His eyes held hers. Poetry's about seeing people fully. Cassandra felt warmth spread through her chest. Is that what you're doing? Helping me bloom? Maybe. Or maybe you're helping me remember it's okay to live again. After Maya died, I shut down. Stopped reading for pleasure, stopped engaging with the world beyond surface level. You make me want to feel things. Their conversations spilled beyond coffee, into long walks along the Charles River. Visits to art galleries where Isaiah explained symbolism in 3 different languages. Evenings at used bookstores where they competed to find the most obscure title. Cassandra's executive assistant, Nina Rodriguez, noticed the change. You've been smiling, she said one afternoon at the office. Like, actually smiling. What's his name? What makes you think it's a he? Because you've been leaving work at 6 p.m. for 3 weeks straight. You never leave before 9. So, spill. Cassandra hesitated. His name is Isaiah. He's brilliant and kind and challenges me in ways I didn't know I needed. And he's black, and I'm terrified of how people will react. Nina, who was Latina and had worked with Cassandra for 5 years, raised an eyebrow. Terrified of how people will react? Or terrified of what it means about you? Both, maybe. Cassandra, I've watched you tear apart hostile boardrooms and negotiate with billionaires. Don't tell me you're scared of dating someone. But she was scared. Because Isaiah wasn't just someone. He was someone who'd seen her at her absolute worst and somehow still showed up every morning with coffee and conversation. Someone who made her question everything she thought she knew about success, worth, and what actually mattered. On a Thursday evening, Isaiah invited her to a community center in Roxbury, where he volunteered teaching English to immigrants. Cassandra sat in the back of a classroom, watching him work with a Haitian grandmother, a Syrian teenager, a Vietnamese family, switching effortlessly between languages, patient and encouraging. You're a natural teacher, she said afterward as they walked through the neighborhood. Teaching's about respect, recognizing that everyone knows something you don't. He stopped walking, turning to face her. Like you've taught me that success doesn't have to look the way I thought it did, that wealth doesn't automatically mean shallow, that people can grow. I'm still growing, because of you. They stood on a street corner as evening fell around them, city lights beginning to glow. Isaiah reached up and gently tucked a strand of blonde hair behind her ear, the first time he'd initiated physical contact beyond a casual arm brush. Cassandra, he said softly, I think I'm falling for you. Her heart stopped, then raced. I think I fell for you the moment you started speaking Japanese and showed me how wrong I'd been about everything. He smiled and took her hand. So what do we do now? Now we figure out if this is real. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. Their first real date was dinner at a seafood restaurant on the waterfront. Cassandra wore a simple blue dress, her blonde hair loose and natural. Isaiah picked her up in his modest Honda Civic, so different from the Mercedes and BMWs in her usual world, and she loved that he didn't apologize for it. The stares began immediately. In the restaurant, on the street, subtle double takes and not so subtle whispers. An older white couple at the next table kept glancing over with disapproving frowns. A black woman dining with friends caught Cassandra's eye and shook her head slightly, as if to say, Really? You couldn't find a brother? Isaiah noticed. You okay? Are you? Cassandra countered. That woman looked upset. She's wondering why I'm with a white woman when black women exist. It's a fair question in some ways. There's history and pain behind that reaction. He squeezed her hand across the table. But the heart doesn't follow social rules. I didn't fall for you because you're white. I fell for you despite the complications that come with it. What kind of complications? As if on cue, Cassandra's phone buzzed. Her mother. She ignored it. It buzzed again and again. You should probably answer that, Isaiah said gently. Cassandra's mother, Victoria Whitmore, didn't bother with pleasantries. Cassandra Elizabeth Whitmore, why is there a photo of you holding hands with a black man circulating on social media? Cassandra's stomach dropped. What? Don't play dumb. Someone posted it. You're at some restaurant looking very cozy with someone completely inappropriate. His name is Isaiah, Mother, and there's nothing inappropriate about him. Cassandra, think about optics, your company, your reputation, your father's legacy. Dad's been dead for 3 years, and I built Meridian myself. And you can destroy it just as easily with poor choices. Who is this man? What does he do? Cassandra looked at Isaiah, who could clearly hear Victoria's raised voice through the phone. He gave her a small nod. Your choice. He's brilliant and educated and kind. And I don't care what anyone thinks. You should care. The board will care. Investors will care. Society can adapt. Cassandra ended the call, her hands shaking. Isaiah reached across and took both her hands. This is what I meant about complications. Your world isn't going to accept this easily. Then my world needs to change. But it wasn't just Cassandra's world. 2 days later, Isaiah's mother called from New Orleans. Baby, I love you, Claudette Bennett said. But folks are talking. Cousin Denise saw pictures online. She's asking why you're with some white woman, saying you've forgotten where you came from. Mama, I'm not saying she's right. I'm saying this is what you'll face. From both sides, people questioning your choices, your loyalty, your identity. She sighed. After Maya, I just want you happy. But I need to know you've thought this through. Isaiah looked at Cassandra after the call, and she saw the weight settling on his shoulders. Both our families are going to fight this, he said. Then we fight harder. It's not just family, Cassandra. It's society. We'll face this everywhere. Judgment, prejudice, assumptions. People will think you're slumming. They'll think I'm after your money. They'll question if what we have is even real. But it is real, Cassandra whispered. Isn't it? It's the most real thing I've felt since Maya died. That's what scares me. The universe seemed determined to test them. A week after their first date, Cassandra attended a charity gala for Boston Children's Hospital, an event she'd committed to months earlier. Isaiah accompanied her as her +1, wearing a rented tuxedo that made him look like he'd stepped out of a magazine. The reaction was immediate and brutal. Cassandra, darling, cooed Miranda Ashworth Kent, Old Money Boston and board member of 3 major charities. How interesting. Your date is quite exotic. Cassandra's smile turned to ice. His name is Isaiah Bennett. He has a master's from Georgetown and speaks 6 languages fluently. How fascinating. What does he do? Currently, he's deciding on his next career move. Miranda's smile was razor sharp. How nice that he has the luxury to decide. Most people in his position don't have such options. The implication hung in the air. He's using you for your money and connections. Isaiah touched Cassandra's elbow gently. Let it go, he murmured. She's not worth it. But throughout the evening, variations of that conversation repeated. Cassandra's business associates were politely curious but skeptical. One venture capitalist she'd known for years actually asked, "Is this some kind of statement you're making?" What kind of statement? You know, social justice, virtue signaling, dating a black man to prove you're progressive. Cassandra's voice turned dangerously quiet. Or maybe I'm dating someone I care about. Radical concept. Isaiah handled it all with grace that amazed her. When a drunk hedge fund manager made a comment about athletes and entertainers, Isaiah simply smiled and changed the subject. When someone assumed he must be a musician or sports player, he corrected them politely without anger. But in the car afterward, he was silent. "I'm sorry," Cassandra said. "Those people were horrible. They were honest. That's how your world sees me, as a novelty, a phase, a statement, not as a person you might actually love. I don't care what they think, but I do." He pulled the car over, turning to face her. "Cassandra, I've spent my whole life being underestimated because of my skin color. Tonight reminded me that dating you means facing that times 100, not just strangers, but your friends, your colleagues, your family. They'll adjust. Will they? Because from where I'm sitting, you're asking me to be strong enough for both of us. Strong enough to handle the stares, the comments, the constant questioning. Strong enough to prove I'm worthy of you every single day. Tears spilled down Cassandra's cheeks. You don't have to prove anything. You're already worthy. Then prove it to me. Prove this is more than guilt or curiosity or rebellion against your mother's expectations. How? Tell me how, and I'll do it. Isaiah was quiet for a long moment. I don't know if you can, because the only way to prove love is time and consistency. Showing up again and again, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. They sat in silence, the weight of reality pressing down on them. The next day, Cassandra faced another challenge. Her board of directors called an emergency meeting. Jonathan Pierce pulled her aside beforehand. They're concerned about your personal life affecting company reputation, he said uncomfortably. Photos from the gala are making social media rounds. Some investors are asking questions about my love life. That's illegal. Not if they couch it as concerns about judgment and decision-making. Cassandra, I'm on your side, but you need to be prepared. They're going to pressure you to choose between Isaiah and Meridian. Cassandra looked at Jonathan, at the company she'd built, at the life she'd carefully constructed. Then she thought of Isaiah's laugh, his kindness, the way he made her feel fully seen for the first time ever. Let them try, she said. The board meeting was a masterclass in corporate passive aggression. We're not telling you who to date, said board chair Harrison Caldwell, a silver-haired man who'd invested in Meridian's Series A round. We're simply concerned about recent developments affecting company image. My dating life is not a company development, Cassandra replied coolly. When you're the face of this company, everything is company business. He pushed his iPad across the table. These are social media posts from the gala. Comments range from inspirational to calculated PR move to outright racist slurs. This is the conversation surrounding Meridian Global right now. Cassandra scrolled through the comments, her stomach churning. Some praised her for breaking barriers. Others accused her of virtue signaling, or worse. The racist comments about Isaiah made her want to throw the iPad across the room. These are random internet people. They don't represent our clients or investors. Actually, they do. Harrison pulled up an email. This is from Gerald Hutchinson at Pinnacle Investments. He's questioning whether Meridian maintains traditional values compatible with their portfolio. That's code, Cassandra. He's uncomfortable with your interracial relationship. Then we don't need his investment. He represents $43 million in capital. Can you afford to be that principled? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Meanwhile, Isaiah faced his own crisis. His mother called with devastating news. His Aunt Lorraine had suffered a stroke in New Orleans and wasn't expected to recover. Claudette needed him home. I have to go back to New Orleans for a while, Isaiah told Cassandra that evening. They sat in his small apartment in Jamaica Plain, the weight of multiple crises pressing down on them. Mama needs help with funeral planning, estate issues. Could be weeks. Of course. I'll come with you. No. His voice was firm. Cassandra, my family is going through trauma. They don't need the added stress of meeting my white girlfriend for the first time under these circumstances. The word stung, even though she understood. I want to support you. You can support me by understanding that some things I need to do alone. This is about my family, my roots, my grief. He took her hands. And honestly, I need space to think. About us. About whether I'm strong enough for this. Isaiah, everything's happening so fast. We met 2 months ago. You're facing board pressure, I'm dealing with family tragedy, and we're both drowning in the weight of what other people think. Maybe we need to step back. Figure out if this is real or if we're just caught up in the intensity of it all. Cassandra felt panic rise in her chest. You're breaking up with me. I'm asking for time. Time to grieve my aunt, to help my mother, to process everything without also navigating your world's judgment and my family's skepticism. How much time? I don't know. That night, after Isaiah left for New Orleans, Cassandra sat alone in her luxury condo overlooking Boston Harbor. Her phone buzzed with messages, her mother demanding lunch to discuss this situation, Harrison Caldwell wanting an emergency call, Nina checking in with concern. She ignored them all and pulled up photos of Isaiah on her phone, him laughing at Rosewood Cafe, teaching at the community center, reading poetry aloud in that beat-up Honda. Every image showed her a man of depth, integrity, and quiet strength. She thought about her board's ultimatum, about her mother's disapproval, about society's judgment and the 1,000 small cuts they'd face every day if they stayed together. Then she thought about a life without Isaiah, successful, respected, empty. For the first time since building Meridian Global, Cassandra knew exactly what mattered most. And it wasn't the company, making a decision that would either save her relationship or destroy everything she'd built. She opened her laptop and began typing an email to the board. The email was simple and devastating. Dear board members, I am resigning as CEO of Meridian Global Consulting effective in 30 days. I will assist in transition planning and remain available as a consultant, but I will no longer serve in a leadership capacity where my personal life is considered company business. I built this company to prove women could succeed in a male-dominated industry, but in doing so, I lost sight of what success actually means. It's not just revenue and market share. It's living authentically. It's choosing love over fear. It's refusing to let prejudice, mine or anyone else's, dictate my happiness. I hope Meridian continues to thrive, but it will thrive without me compromising my integrity. Cassandra Whitmore. She hit send at 2 a.m. and immediately booked a flight to New Orleans. Nina called at 7 a.m., her voice frantic. Cassandra, what did you do? The board is losing their minds. Harrison is threatening legal action. Your mother has called me 6 times. I know what I'm doing. Do you? You just quit the company you built from nothing. I didn't quit. I chose. There's a difference. Cassandra landed in New Orleans at noon and took a taxi to the address Isaiah had mentioned. A modest house in the 7th Ward with a porch full of grieving family members. She stood on the sidewalk for 10 minutes, gathering courage. Isaiah saw her first. He was sitting on the porch steps talking with an older woman, his mother, clearly, with the same warm eyes and strong features. When he spotted Cassandra, he stood slowly, shock and something like hope crossing his face. What are you doing here? He asked, walking down to the sidewalk. Showing up. You said the only way to prove love is time and consistency. Showing up when it's hard. She handed him her phone with the resignation email still displayed. I quit my company. For me, not for you. Because I realized I'd rather have a life with you than success without you. Isaiah read the email, his expression unreadable. Cassandra, you can't quit your entire career for a relationship. That's not healthy. I'm not quitting for you. I'm choosing myself. The version of me that exists when I'm with you. Honest, vulnerable, real. I'm choosing a life that matters over a life that just looks impressive. She stepped closer. I love you, Isaiah Bennett. I fell for you the moment you spoke Japanese and showed me how small and prejudiced my worldview was. I love your kindness, your intelligence, your strength, and I'm here because love means showing up, especially when it's hard. Tears filled Isaiah's eyes. He pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. You're insane, he whispered against her hair. Probably. I love you too. So much it terrifies me. Claudette Bennett approached slowly, studying Cassandra with the same direct gaze as her son. So, you're the woman who's got my baby all turned around? Yes, ma'am. I'm Cassandra. I'm sorry I'm meeting you under such difficult circumstances. Claudette was silent for a long moment. Then she said, Isaiah told me what happened at that restaurant, how you mocked him, then apologized, then actually meant it. That takes character, admitting when you're wrong. She touched Cassandra's cheek gently. You hurt my son and we'll have words, but you also made him smile again after 2 years of grief. So you're welcome here. We'll figure out the rest as we go. That evening, Cassandra sat on the porch with Isaiah's family, listening to stories about Aunt Lorraine, about Maya, about the complicated, beautiful history of the Bennett family. She was the only white person there, but nobody made her feel unwelcome. This was love. Not easy, not simple, but real. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. 6 months later, Cassandra stood in a renovated warehouse in New Orleans' Bywater neighborhood, watching Isaiah teach a language class to 20 eager students, refugees from Syria, Haiti, Vietnam, Guatemala. She'd used her settlement from Meridian to start Crossbridge Institute, a nonprofit offering free language education and job training to immigrants and underserved communities. Isaiah served as director of education. Cassandra handled operations and fundraising. Together, they'd built something that mattered more than any corporate deal ever had. Cassandra! A 12-year-old Haitian girl named Marie-Claire ran over. Mr. Isaiah taught me how to say thank you in 7 languages. Want to hear? For the next 5 minutes, Marie-Claire demonstrated her new skills while Cassandra applauded. Helping this brilliant child gain tools to navigate her new country, felt more meaningful than any merger or acquisition. That evening, Cassandra and Isaiah walked through the French Quarter, his hand warm in hers. Some people still stared. Some made comments, but mostly, people just saw 2 people in love. My mother called today, Cassandra said. She's coming to visit next month. Really? That's progress. She wants to understand my choices. It's a start. Cassandra smiled. She also mentioned that Harrison Caldwell retired from the Meridian board after a harassment investigation. Turns out, I wasn't the only woman he'd pressured about her personal life. Karma. Justice, actually. The company's thriving under new leadership, and I get calls weekly asking me to consult. Turns out quitting made me more valuable, not less. They stopped at a corner where a street musician played saxophone, the notes drifting through humid night air. Isaiah pulled Cassandra close, and they swayed together, unselfconsciously. I love you, he said. I love your courage, your growth, your willingness to change. You're not the woman who mocked me at Augustine's anymore. Thank God for that. Cassandra looked up at him. You saved me, from a life of success without meaning, from never questioning my own biases, from being so focused on proving my worth that I forgot to actually live. You saved yourself. I just provided motivation. We saved each other. Back at their shared apartment, a cozy place with high ceilings and exposed brick, nothing like Cassandra's former luxury condo, they found a package from Claudette. Inside was a quilt, handmade, incorporating fabrics from both their families' histories. A note read, "For your future home together. Love doesn't erase differences. It weaves them into something beautiful." Cassandra traced the patterns. Rich African prints next to New England florals, Southern cottons beside Boston woolens. Different traditions, different histories, coming together into something new and stunning. We should hang this in the Institute, Isaiah suggested. Show our students that diversity isn't something to overcome. It's something to celebrate. Perfect. Later, lying in bed with Isaiah's arms around her, Cassandra reflected on how much had changed since that awful night at Augustine's. She'd lost a company but gained a purpose. Lost her old life but found meaning. Lost her prejudices but gained the love of an extraordinary man. Thank you, she whispered into the darkness. For what? For translating. For forgiving me. For showing me what love looks like when it's real. Isaiah kissed her forehead. Thank you for showing up. Again and again, even when it was hard. Outside, New Orleans hummed with life. Diverse, complicated, beautiful. Inside, 2 people who'd started as strangers across a terrible moment had become partners in something extraordinary. Love hadn't erased their differences or solved all their problems. Cassandra's family still struggled with acceptance. Isaiah still grieved his sister. They still faced judgment and prejudice, but they faced it together, and that made all the difference.